everyone, and welcome to Heartbeat Alaska Native News, Native Information. I'm Jeannie Green. Thank you so very much for joining us. Hello, Canada. Hello, all our good friends in the lower 48. I'm so pleased that you joined us for another program of Heartbeat Alaska. And today, we travel north to the Inupiat village of Barrow, Alaska. Have you ever been whaling? Well, very few people have. And today, we find what whaling is all about. We visit with the good people in Barrow and learn so much about life in that exciting village in the north. I'll be back with Barrow, Alaska, right after this.
Hi, my name is Herman Ahsouk. I'm from Barrow, Alaska. Heartbeat Alaska will be back in a moment.
Heartbeat Alaska is brought to you in part by Coastal Villages Region Fund. Thank you, CVRF, for your support of Heartbeat Alaska.
Heartbeat Alaska is pleased to announce a brand new official hotel. We're brought to you now by Millennium Alaskan Hotel, the official hotel of Heartbeat Alaska. And
Heartbeat Alaska is also brought to you by Frontier Airlines. Thank you, Frontier Airlines, for getting Heartbeat Alaska airborne.
Hi, I'm Mark from Scan Home, and we are proud to sponsor Heartbeat Alaska.
Scan Home, serving all of Alaska's home and office furnishing needs. Thank you, Scan Home, for making Heartbeat Alaska possible.
Heartbeat Alaska is brought to you in part by Brown's Electric Lighting Gallery. Thank you, Brown's Electric, for your generous support of Heartbeat Alaska.
It is the northernmost village in America, the last frontier before you enter the icy waters of the Arctic Ocean. It's not a place for the meek or the timid, nor is it a place for those without a sense of adventure. It is instead the Inuit paradise of the north and home to the Inupiat people. With almost 5,000 citizens inhabiting this first-class city, Barrow, Alaska is the whaling capital of the state, and as you will soon discover, whaling is a deep-rooted tradition that is essential to the existence of these ice-dwelling Inuit. From the sewing of the skins to the harvest of the great animal, whaling in Barrow, Alaska is truly a community event. It is a time of honoring and a time of celebration. Arnold Brower Jr. was one of the fortunate hunters who caught the first of Barrow's whales this season.
We got ours early in this month in May, and had excellent water and ice conditions, and ice was thick. So we had good ice conditions to pull up the whale up. We were pretty blessed and fortunate for that. So we had a 38 feet 5 foot whale, female bowhead whale. Had a lot of muktuk. The first whale has to be divided. All the shares have to be divided with all of the village, with all of the whaling crews in the village, so they could get a share of muktuk and fresh whale meat. So it's pretty unique. It's really something. It's really good to get the first whale in the community, make you really feel good. People think this is a seasonal thing about us whaling. It's not. It's a year-round activity. Things we do in our life from summer to fall is as soon as we're done whaling, we have to take the skin off to have blanket toss. Then we have to get some more ugruk or seals, bearded seals, to get a new skin for the skin boat. We use the skin boats to go after the whales. So this summer we'll be hunting seals to get new skin. You can tell this skin is a fairly new skin. You can see the skin sewing, how they were sewn together. These were overlapped so that there's a top sewing, and if you go to the inside, there's a similar sewing on the inside, so that they're overlapped each other. And there's a little bit of oil still seeped inside of this threading between those two that's locked, keep the water from going in, and it's become more waterproof. So that's what I was talking about, the ladies sewing these skins together. This is one ugruk skin, seal skin, all the way to the front, all the way to the other side. And this is the next one, and it goes all the way up to the other side, and they're sewn together. Whaling is the nucleus of our culture, and but it's not just whaling, it's all of the things that we do as a community is intertwined with the Inupiat culture. Now that I've done whaling, I'm kind of cleaning up the yard and get some of my other stuff ready for this summer. Look like that ice is going to break away a lot sooner than all these other years. It's gotten quite dangerous here in Barrow, and we've had a lot of snow machines fall in the water through the ice, because the ice is melting so fast. It's not just from the heat, it's from the undercurrent of the ocean. It's kind of a really strong current in the water.
And it can be an extremely dangerous current too, especially when the huge chunks of ice start moving. In fact, on May 12, 2002, a group of whalers almost 10 miles from shore on the edge of the ice pack were attempting to bring a whale upon the ice floe when
oh my gosh!
the ice that the hunters were on broke free from the ice pack, and the current began to pull the large ice floe and the stranded whalers further and further out into the Arctic Ocean.
Rescue base, JR Cap.
Raymond, 2 people. Go ahead, JR Cap, rescue base.
45 men? Yeah. We got 45 men, 5 ladies, and 8 kids.
58 people found themselves stranded on an ice floe that was being swept away by the current.
I wasn't scared. I was just worried about all the young kids and the people that tried to go back to the shore when we broke away. And our elders always tell us not to panic when something like this happens. You know, you just gotta pray. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, there was a rescue that was even bigger. There was like 171 whalers that they had to pluck off the ice with the choppers. They had 3 choppers going, I think the 2 big ones and the little L1.
Kids first! And mothers next!
So this is not the first time that whalers have been rescued with the chopper.
Ready for the ride home, guys!
It took all morning, but with the help of search and rescue, all 58 people were rescued and returned to safety, and all but 2 snow machines were safely retrieved.
Heartbeat Alaska will be right back.
Are you traveling to Anchorage for education or health care? The Alaska Family Hospice is your home in the city. Located 1.5 blocks from the Alaska Native Medical Center, Alaska Family Hospice offers fully equipped apartments, housekeeping services, shuttle service, Medicaid payments, grocery shopping service, or cook your own native food right in your apartment.
Well, I've been coming here for the last 3 years, and all the times I come here, it's like a home away from home.
For total comfort, affordability, and safety, come on home to the Alaska Family Hospice, your home in the city.
Kenai Peninsula College, part of UAA, and Alaska Christian College, working together for the future.
For the first time, I really looked at my life like I held a mirror up to it, and I got to see who I really was.
An opportunity to challenge yourself.
Made me feel like I was at home.
Small classes designed for your success.
It's challenging, but it's not overwhelming.
A quality education in a rural environment.
We are definitely a family, and everything that comes with it.
Each week, Heartbeat Alaska brings you great stories from all over the state. And we couldn't do it without the generous support of Frontier Flying Service. Frontier gets our camera crews where they need to go. So whenever you see a Frontier plane, give them a wave.
Say hi from Northside.
You might just be on Heartbeat Alaska.
Frontier Flying Service, covering Alaska for over 50 years.
Welcome back. It's back to Barrow, Alaska. And though the citizens of Barrow live in the northernmost city in all of America, they live in a remote location, but their lifestyle is a mixture of traditional culture plus high tech. And we'll show you what we mean by that. We'd like to introduce you to Ukpeagvik Inupiat Corporation. I'm George Olemaun. Whaling up north is a way of life for the Inupiat people. While many people hunt animals for sporting purposes, it holds a much greater meaning to the people of Barrow.
This is our culture. We don't have any cattle here. We don't have any sheep farms, and we don't grow any agricultural or produce and things. So this whale is our food source, is our diet. It meets our nutritional need.
In fact, it is so important to their survival that during whaling season, many people take subsistence leave from their daily jobs to go hunting.
Whenever like whaling comes up or in the summertime, we need to do all our subsistence livestock. We do it year-round, but more so in the summertime when we can go out with our boats and go out to our camp, but also with our whaling and with a successful whaler, they need to go out geese hunting to get for the feast, to get things ready for the feast, and we try to assure that to our shareholders that they can have the time to do this.
George Olemaun is the president for the Ukpeagvik Inupiat Corporation in Barrow. UIC is the Native Village Corporation in Barrow, which was established under the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act of 1972. In 1995, UIC was named the 10th largest Alaska-owned corporation by Alaska Business Monthly. Ukpeagvik Inupiat Corporation and its family of companies provide a wide range of services in Alaska and the lower 48, including transportation, construction, engineering, and communications, to name just a few. They are a driving force in the economic development of Barrow and the North Slope region, providing hundreds of people with job opportunities.
We do work for our shareholders, for them to benefit, for their benefit, but also to ensure that they continue to work for our corporation, either the shareholders or the children and spouses of our shareholders, into the future. And we do that through our human resources and department to hire as many as we can to enable them, and also to put them into the mid-management or upper management of our corporations, of our subsidiaries, so that they will continue to utilize our shareholders, especially the children now that a lot of us has grown up and are older. Now it's up to our kids and our grandkids in the future to assure that our corporation is locally controlled, and that we continue to use our resources, but also to make sure that our culture is sustained through the corporation and through our shareholders and their children.
What we have going on here is one of our apprentices installing trimming and new windows, and what we're doing is renovating, upgrading for vapor barrier seal, windproofing the windows, and getting ready for next winter for the Grice Family Services and their new renovation project here.
Nathaniel Rexford is the acting superintendent for UICC, Ukpeagvik Inupiat Corporation Construction, a subsidiary of UIC.
But working with UIC, it's been a challenge. I've learned a lot from the carpenters, superintendents, managers, and a lot of the leaders that came through UIC construction. I enjoy my job. It's pays well, gives me a chance to take care of my family and do the things I want to do, like subsistence hunt and support my family through my traditions and culture. What we have here is the boiler room, another part of the construction going on in here. Working for UIC is an honor because all of our board of directors are shareholders. They support 100% shareholder hire. They encourage self-sufficiency. And without UIC, a lot of people in Barrow would be without jobs. A lot of the construction work would be contracted to outside contractors, and I believe that UIC construction came in and supported their people by building a construction company up here.
Hugh Olemaun, Jonathon Dejesus, and Sean Ukpeagvik work for UIC Development as mechanics.
I'm inspecting this airbox. It says there might be a recall for idle control, and this thing has a real bad idle. So I checked on the computer for any related TSBs, that's technical service bulletins, and it said inspect the airbox for damage, and that kind of messes with the idle. So I was just making sure nothing was broken in there. And now I'm trying to go back together.
Well, this is I gotta switch over the transmission out of it. You gotta be mechanically inclined at least.
And these are just a couple of examples how the Ukpeagvik Inupiat Corporation and the Inupiat people of Barrow are strengthening their relationships, their traditions, their culture, and their community by standing together at the top of the world.
The way I see it, this is top of the world for Barrow, Alaska. And I like to say this is where everybody looks up to us. So that, and I don't say that out of, for us to say that we're above everybody, just that we're on top of the world.
This is Grant Fairbanks. He's a pretty nice guy. He's lived in Bethel a long time. He owns Brown Slough Bed and Breakfast.
We have two bed and breakfasts, the north building and the south building. We have 4 rooms in each.
Whenever we visit Bethel, we stay at Brown Slough, and Grant serves us a great breakfast.
Quiet atmosphere, it's homey, it's very clean, it's safe and secure.
We'd like to thank Grant and the whole crew at Brown Slough Bed and Breakfast.
From the moment you enter the doorway at the Millennium Hotel, another world surrounds you. It's a world of friendly faces and cordial service. It's a place of great taste and great tastes. The Millennium Hotel is a haven of relaxation and personal restoration, of attentive service and attention to details. But at the end of the day, we won't read you a bedtime story. Although, would you be surprised if we did?
The Inupiat people of Barrow, Alaska are strong, they're talented, they're courageous people, they're excellent hunters. And this didn't happen overnight. Ronald Brower Sr. takes us back through time, and we visit the ancestors of the citizens of Barrow. At the Inupiat Heritage Center in Barrow, the spirit of the Inupiat people is reflected in the exhibits and displays that date back thousands of years. Director of the center, Ronald Brower Sr., explains some of the little-known historical facts about his ancestors and their existence.
Greenland was actually occupied by Inuit back 2,000 years ago, bit more time than most people had anticipated. And as we move into the Siberian coast, we find that the whalebone houses are even older. I think the oldest was about 32,000, the youngest being about 18,000 years old on the Siberian coast. And so Inuit have been involved in whaling for a long time. Back in the 1800s, 1880s, and 1890s, the coastal whalers decided that they're going to change their technology. So they discarded their stone tools. And this piece here is part of a kalawea. It's a killing lance for stabbing the whale to death. You drive that into the heart or into a nerve to kill the animal as quickly as possible. These blue beads were used in trade from the 1500s to the 1800s until money was introduced up here. Now these blue beads had some of the highest value because they related to some of our cosmology and traditional beliefs, and also were highly valued as a form of money. One of these kind of blue beads would buy you a dog team of 5, 25 caribou skins, a sled, and enough food to last your dogs about 6 months, and a stack of fur as tall as yourself for one blue bead. And it was the wisdom of our elders that led us to start thinking about a cultural center. The center has been a source of pride to the people in all of our villages. I've seen our kids come in here. They'll be looking at and they'll recognize something that maybe belonged to their grandfather, their great-great-grandfather. They see their parents' name once in a while here, and it instills pride in these children. They're very happy to learn about their culture. And for our elders, it gives them a place to pass down the traditional knowledge that they've been wanting to pass on. So here we have a living cultural facility. It's not just a museum.
But you don't have to visit the Inupiat Heritage Center to get a glimpse of the past. Just take a short walk down to the shore with George Olemaun.
This is our old site, Ukpeagvik, and that's where we named our corporation more or less after Ukpeagvik Inupiat Corporation. But it shows how the, say 2,000 years ago, these are sod houses that were built according to that with sods and whalebones and sunken entrance or tunnel to keep the cold out. And Ukpeagvik means a place where we hunt snow owls. Back then, that was what was available, but now we don't need that anymore. We have chicken, so. They traded, but they traded from the eastern side. By that I mean China and Russia. And then that's how they traded back then. But they also traded with the natives or the Indians inland. And there was always warring. There was always wars too back then. And we won it, so that's why we're here.
Today, however, the battle is taking place on a political field. In 1986, commercial whaling was banned worldwide by the International Whaling Commission, which consists of several different whaling countries around the world. But Aboriginal whaling or subsistence whaling was still allowed. The ban on commercial whaling has largely impacted Japan, and in an effort to ultimately unblock the ban, Japan has led an effort to block Aboriginal whaling, which is a main diet for many of Alaska's coastal Native communities, leaving many Native people wondering about the future of their existence.
Well, I think they're playing politics, you know. I don't think it's the issue that we are taking whales, too much whales or anything, but they have other countries are involved with trying to do something for their own economics. Unfortunately, we're caught in the middle of that in the international scheme of things, and there's nothing to trade, there's nothing to negotiate for us. Our way of life is not to be bartered or negotiated. Now, I can't negotiate a life, our food source. You can't, if they say no more quota for Inupiat people, does that mean that they don't want us to eat anymore? Essentially, that's what they're saying.
In a recent turn of events, Japan has reversed their decision to oppose subsistence whaling, allowing the International Whaling Commission to lift the ban on Aboriginal whaling. For the hunters of Barrow, it is one less thing to worry about as they follow the sea ice into the cold Arctic waters in pursuit of the great whale. A simple reminder that no matter how hard the winds may blow or how fierce the sea may get, the Inupiat people of Barrow will carry on. Thank you everyone in Barrow, Alaska for your help in that story. Thank you George Olemaun from Ukpeagvik Inupiat Corporation and the good people in Barrow, Alaska. We have some exciting news beginning July 14th. Heartbeat Alaska will join the family of Channel 2 KTUU every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. following Meet the Press. Thank you all for joining us. God bless every single one of you, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah.